There's paranoia in Kenya. There's paranoia in Uganda. There's paranoia in Tanzania. There's paranoia everywhere within the East African community. The difference is in the stages. The difference is in the manifestation of the paranoia. But the paranoia is there. The entity that we call the State House in East Africa, in the community, is in panic. It's not sure of where it is standing, how it relates to the people. And when we look at Tanzania, as my two colleagues here say, is still behind. In fact, Professor, I think it's even further behind than we attempt to suggest. Because here, if you look at ourselves, in 1991, 1992, we were agitating for space. We were speaking the truth to State House. And we were telling President Moi, you have got to open up the space. In Tanzania, you have got the whimpering of Tundu Lissu and Chadema, which is really something very minor as compared and contrasted with what was happening in Kenya at that time. And to secure herself, President Samia Suluhu decides that this person should start his journey on the death row. And then you have got, and here I've got to agree completely with my colleagues, the institution of parliament that has abdicated its responsibility. You heard how they spoke in that august house, if it is still august in any way, justifying what was happening. You see, the East African passport should stand for something. It should mean something. Here in Nairobi, we were harassed, we were terrorized a few years ago, spending nights outside the Nyayo House, seeking to switch our Kenyan passport for the East African community passport. That we have got a common parliament, we even have a common court. Tanzania itself is the headquarters of the East African community. We have got a number of protocols on movement of the people. We have got a political pillars, one of the 4 fundamental pillars of the East African Treaty, that we look forward to a moment when we are going to be federated as the East African community. And then you have these people, and Angie, I don't look at them as politicians. I saw William Tunga and Martha Karua as lawyers who are going to this neighboring country where we have become borderless. We even have a common border post. Common border posts all over the place in the East African community. And they have arrived here just to go in court, to witness, not to do anything else, to witness. You have got, of course, Boni Mwangi, and you have got Agatha Atahire, who are, of course, activists, but who have been in this country before. And when they were there, they did not engage in any activism. In any event, activism is part of the parcel of the law in the 3 East African countries. At least on paper, there's nothing criminal about mobilizing people.
Prof.
It's part of the East African Community Treaty, freedom of movement of people, services, of goods. But Jeff, Angie raises a very fundamental question. You get to the airport in Nairobi, and you will see a desk for East Africans. And it's not just one desk, there are several desks for East Africans. You get to Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, Julius Nyerere International Airport. I was there a few weeks ago. Tanzanians, foreigners. So we are all foreigners.
Yes. In their eyes.
There is one problem,
yes,
perhaps we need to put
in Entebbe and Paranoia in State House in Nairobi. And one could talk about paranoia elsewhere within the community. Indeed, elsewhere, perhaps even everywhere in Africa, on the continent. I was reading Professor Kagwanja a few weeks ago, and I also read Justin Muturi, just attempting to appreciate the African condition today. It's like the people who are in power in State House are not very sure of themselves. And I think it is largely because they are not managing the promises and the expectations. That we have got a massive youthful population that is emerging from institutions of learning and training, either as qualified graduates or as dropouts, sometimes as a bit of each of those two, and they don't know what to do with them. And this Africa is rising. Make no mistake about it. Jeff, a year ago, almost the day today, I sat here with you in June last year with young people here, Gen Zs.
Yes.
And people were saying, what is Barrack doing with Gen Zs on JKL? And we said in this studio here that if this government does not watch out, these young people are going to give it a shock treatment such as they have never seen. Yeah. This continent should know that the youth are rising. You cannot have a country where, and it's a community actually, the entire East African community, where you can stop anywhere, marketplace, anywhere during the day, and you have throngs of thousands of young people who have materialized to see whether some 200 bob are going to drop. Yeah. And they're huge throngs. And the people who should be sitting in their offices to plan and to implement, create wealth, create employment, productive employment, it's not there. So they are in panic. There's paranoia. When they look at Kiza Besigye, they want to pretend that he's the problem. That's just a scapegoat. And this spirit of Traore that people start seeing as the salvation is beginning to spread. You look at Burkina Faso, ECOWAS tell them, we don't want you. They tell Mali, we don't want you. They tell Niger, we don't want you. The three countries come together and they say, it doesn't matter, we will get into our own union. And it's a spirit that is spreading. Finally, when you have moments such as this, if you're in leadership in State House, you sit back to listen, to read, to ask, to receive answers, and to implement. You do not engage in high-handed, arm-twisting tactics. And in a country like ours, early political campaigns of the kind that you are seeing, because they are going nowhere. The more you go out, the more you twist people's arms, the more angry and repulsive things get. So in the proper order of time, that path, that opportunity you had of evolutionary change fails. And when the moment is ripe for change, the change is going to take place either through evolution, in the sense that those who are in power recognize that the time has come when we must do the right things. But if they don't, then evolution adds an R at the beginning.
Becomes revolution. Folks, okay, we're done with Tanzania. We're going to take a break, come back, talk about issues Kenya. Rose Njeri, she's a web designer. bank. Right? Come on, man. What kind of paranoia are we talking about? You jailer, you keep a...
You don't even know what charge to bring up against her. You hang around with her. I was reading Franz Kafka some time back, the trial, remember? Prof. And there's a man, Mr. K, who is arrested. And he does not know what offense he has committed. The prosecutor does not know what offense he has committed. The trial judges do not know what offense he has committed. Even his attorney does not know what offense he has committed. But in the end, they sentence him to death.
Good Lord.
Is it to secure the integrity, the stability? She has not crushed that system. The things that I do and I say in this country today are part of data gathering and data storage for future generations, that they will want to know the truth. If you read the Bible, and you are a Christian gentleman like myself and my two colleagues here, in the Gospel, according to St. John, to St. Luke, the author says at the beginning that having followed closely the things that happened in the life and career of Jesus Christ, as they have reached us from those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses of these things, it occurred to me that I should compile an orderly narrative for you. So the things that I do and say today and the ones that I witness have gone beyond surprise. They've gone beyond shock, that now we are gathering corpus for future generations. They will want to know where the rain started beating us so that they can correct the situation. Because here is a situation where you asked about mea culpa, that I blame myself, I accept that I am wrong. That should be seen within the broad context of the hypocrisy that is the national prayer ceremony that happens in this country every year. People get there clothed in piety, but underneath is unbridled profanity. And as soon as they leave that place, the cloak of piety is removed. The profane individual underneath that cloak steps out in Homa Bay, in Parliament, and they are there spewing the usual things that they have pretended to be remorseful about, to be repentant about. So within that framework, and His Excellency, the President, I'm sure is watching, or his people are watching.
Yes.
And they will tell him. He goes to Homa Bay and is reeling off one imaginary achievement after the other, almost as if he has been switched on, like a machine that is just going ta 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 ta. There is even no moment to pause, to engage with the audience. In these communication things that we do, Angie, you know, we say pause, look at the audience, catch the eye. Are they still with you? Have you lost them? Do you need to moderate your message? So there is hypocrisy of the highest order. You have seen a member of parliament, that sacrosanct house that calls itself the august house, saying that in Kenya there is freedom of speech, but we cannot guarantee you freedom after speech. You have seen that we are operating in an environment where the hustler revolution is eating its own children. Gloria Magoma has been eaten. Cicely Mbarire, the legs are already in the mouth. Rigathi Gachagua was eaten. And many others are going to be eaten. Even Kimani Ichung'wah is going to be eaten. You better tell him that Barrack was on TV and he was saying that the revolution is going to eat you. And Jeff Koinange, we sat here with you, with the PLO Lumumba, and we said it would appear that the choice before us is one of whether we are going to be eaten by the fox or by the jackal. The fox got us, and then the fox invited the jackal, or elsewhere, in a different environment. It's perhaps the hyena with teeth got us and invited the hyena without teeth and told the hyena without teeth that while I eat the flesh and the bones, you can drink the soup.